Congratulations, you finally made it to 4 p.m. You know what that means. Happy hour. It's time to kick back, relax, and dive into the world of sports with the Young and Norvell Show. Whether you're catching up on the latest scores, analyzing the big plays, or gearing up for tonight's games, we've got you covered. So grab a cold one, settle in, and let's talk sports. Here they are, Patrick Young and Terry Norvell.
So here we go. Some days you have breaking news, and this is one of those days. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Young and Norvell Show. Terry Norvell coming to you here on a cold day. Cold day, but NFL news has heated up around really the entire NFL, but it is centered around Jacksonville. We hope to hear from Patrick Young a little bit later. We also want to thank Brent Martineau. Hopefully you caught our breaking news segment with Brent a moment ago, explaining that about a couple hours ago it became public. Shad Khan, in a release statement, has announced that he has fired Trent Baalke. Trent Baalke is no longer the general manager of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and certainly a lot of layers of the onion will be peeled back and tried to be reconstructed, and we will talk about that as we go. Hope to hear from Patrick Young a little later on the program. Pat, of course, in Charlotte. He will have his SEC network duties as a basketball analyst on set tonight during both of the half times of both games tonight on the SEC network and tomorrow, but we'll catch up with Pat, I think. Hopefully he made it there safe with all the weather travel issues. The SEC network is in Charlotte, as I said, so we hope to hear from Patrick. Setting up the show before we get back to the massive NFL news and massive Jacksonville Jaguars news. We also hope to hear from Dr. Aaron Bates about 5:05, as we do every Wednesday with our sports medicine segment sponsored by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. And also, Brent Beard will be checking in with us. Not exactly sure. The weather's got Brent's job a little moved around time-wise, so Brent will jump in when he can. But he definitely told me he will talk some college football and basketball as we go. Zach Rothrock producing, and we'll get Zach's comments as well. So let's reset again. Good job by Brent Martineau, really jumping on and giving the lay of the land of what happened. Trent Baalke has been fired as the Jacksonville Jaguars general manager by Shad Khan. So basically, as we sit right now, today, three major pieces of NFL news have come out today. Major pieces of NFL news, and two of them directly relate to the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you have not heard, earlier today, the New York Jets announced they have a new head football coach. They have hired Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn by way of the defensive coordinator position with the Detroit Lions. So piece of news number one, big piece of news number one is Aaron Glenn has filled the Jets vacancy. Zach, we won't spend a lot of time on this, but real quick, Aaron Glenn, Jets coach. Aaron Rodgers, quarterback. Offensive position, Aaron Glenn, defensive coordinator. Does that say anything that the Jets bring in a defensive guy with regard to Aaron Rodgers' future with the Jets? Does that say anything at all, you think, Zach, or no?
Yeah, I'm kind of under the impression that Aaron Rodgers will not be a Jet before the coach was hired. Even definitely after kind of feels like that even
that's
like further solidifies that.
That's what I get. They go get a defensive guy to run the ship. You think the writing's on the wall. So Zach, huge piece of news number one from the NFL. Three pieces. Huge piece of news, I think, particularly in our area. Number two today regarding the NFL and the Jaguars. Liam Cohen came out and made it known. He made it a statement through his people and the Buccaneers. Liam Cohen will stay in Tampa with a new contract. He will pull his name or has already pulled his name out of consideration for the open Jacksonville Jaguar head coaching position. That was kind of a stunner because you really felt like Cohen was the guy, and that is not a lateral. I mean, that is a huge step up, coordinator to head coach. That was pretty big, staggering piece of news, I thought. Didn't you as well a couple of hours ago?
Yeah, for sure. And it feels like Shad Khan felt the same way. It seems like that was the impetus, the straw that broke the camel's back, or whatever phrase you want to use. Yeah,
sure.
That's what made these moves happen. Yeah,
that seemed to be the impetus. And and I like what Brent said. Brent Martin, our main man here on our network. Brent made a good point. When Baalke wasn't fired, what was that now, a month ago, whenever that was? When he wasn't fired, certainly it had huge ramifications locally. The local fan here in Jacksonville, most of the media, I think all of us were pretty much united. I don't remember anybody saying, give Baalke one more year. Give Baalke one more crack at it. I don't think anybody said that. But that was a local negativity. Brent said it well. Earlier today, and even back with the Ben Johnson stuff a couple days ago, even though I never thought Johnson was coming here, it got so reported that Johnson would really never have considered this job because of Baalke. And then today, the national guys jumped on the Liam Cohen. Well, you got to believe he wasn't going because of Baalke. I think that was the push over the edge, as Brent Martineau pointed out, for Shad Khan. He said, this is untenable. This is untenable. And then moving ahead, let's say Khan did not make that move with Baalke earlier today, did not fire him. How effective could Baalke be in his job? Think about this coming year. I mean, he almost had his you-know-what cut off. Had his you-know-what's cut off.
Yeah, he wouldn't be playing with the full deck. It's almost like he wouldn't be able to have any type of respect in that regards from people. The move had to be done. When you become an undesirable job when you have these things laid out, and it feels like people point to Trent Baalke. When you hear the same story from multiple sources that people just say they can't work with this guy, and you hear it over and over. I mean, you got to make it happen. But with that being the case, moving forward, I mean, the next guy who's going to be the fall guy, it'll have to be Trevor Lawrence at this point.
And nobody else, really.
And I mean, I know he's tied down with the big deal for now, but the deal's not going to last forever. I think it's got probably 4 years. It was a 5-year deal, I think.
Yes, I think so.
I mean, he's really and he wasn't dealt the best hand. I mean, the Urban Meyer year was tough, and so you get a mulligan with that. But I mean, a lot of people felt like Doug Peterson was the guy to give him a legitimate shot to turn things around and be a franchise quarterback. And so he's really got to make it happen this time.
That's
I think
a good point,
he definitely can. He definitely
can. That's a real good point, and we're looking ahead, but. If this franchise, it's just a mathematical formula now. A new coach is going to get hired here in the next couple of weeks. We know that. That guy will be starting at the start line, right? His ticker, his timepiece won't start. It'll start at 0. The new GM that comes in will get hired soon as well.
Right.
His or her timepiece will start at 0. Trevor Lawrence's timepiece is already at about 3, if you know what I mean, right? That clock's already running. So if this franchise continues and or hits another just horrid patch of ice, using a weather analogy today that's apropos, in the next couple of years, Lawrence is the guy up. He's the guy on deck, right? He's the guy on deck closest to the guillotine. Time-wise. That's a good point. That's an interesting point. What else I gleaned from this, there will not be enough time. Who is the guy in the release? I've got the release somewhere. There's an internal guy that will be the interim general manager, Ethan. I lost his last name. It's some here. But he's on the staff down there. He's going to step in and do probably just the paperwork, if you will, that the GM, go to the meetings, take them, right? He's not going to be the general manager. They're not going to hire this guy internally, right? He's holding the place. Point I'm making is it's going to take
Ethan Wall.
Ethan Wall, is that right?
Yep.
So this guy is not a serious candidate for the GM job. I wouldn't think. Mm-hmm. It's going to take a few weeks to hire a general manager, because you could tell it wasn't like Khan was already interviewing people, because he was keeping Baalke. I would say Khan didn't make this decision until 24 hours ago, probably.
I mean, it feels like it's a direct correlation with the reality of losing Cohen because
pushed it over the top.
Baalke. Yeah, it feels like it.
With that being the case, this next head football coach hire for the Jaguars will be 100% Shad Khan. I don't think he has time to go search out a general manager, get to know the guy, interview the guy, talk philosophy with the guy, meet and have steak, bring him into Jacksonville. then say, hey, let's tag team, go hire a head coach. I don't think you have the time for that, right? I think Shad Khan is on his own now. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I don't see him having much input. And it's not as pressing, maybe time-wise, as if you had a college opening right now. You know, you got spring ball that starts in March for colleges. It's not as pressing. You look at the timeline, but the Jaguars need to have a coach in the next 2 weeks max. Max, I think.
I mean, oh yeah, I mean,
max,
the Senior Bowl's coming up, scouting combine's coming up, all that stuff. I mean, you want to have your plan. You want to have your plan in place.
Where I was going was what you brought up right there. The timeline for the NFL. Get the head coach in. You could take a little time on the GM, and you may want to get the head coach in first and ask him his thoughts of a GM. But the GM, you could work around it because, yes, the entire coaching staff will probably get whacked. They may keep one guy. Whoever the new guy is occasionally keeps one guy, but the whole coaching staff from the head guy down is going to get whacked. But the scouting department, the player personnel department, that's going to stay intact pretty much. So when you look at the NFL timeline from right now on, it's not that pressing if you don't have a general manager. You want a head coach, but your scouting department can still get all the data. They can go to Mobile. Your scouting department, player personnel people can represent you without a general manager in Indianapolis at the Combine. The draft is in April, but you can keep getting your reams of information on all these players, right? You can have so much information to hand to the new GM right before the draft if you had to. So you can get all that done, right? You can, and then mini camp is in May. So the timeline is, if you had a college job, if the Texas job was wide open right now in college, man, you need everybody buttoned up because spring practice starts March 7th sometimes, March whatever. Well, it's not that pressing right now. But the head coach has got to get hired, though, in the next couple of weeks, I think, max.
Yeah, the game of musical chairs is starting to come to a close, and most of the guys, I mean, Ben Johnson obviously went to the Bears from $13 million contract. They're all filling up, and if your candidates are all going to be going. This Cohen from the Buccaneers, he's probably the guy they probably wanted the most, if not they wanted Ben Johnson the most, and so I don't know. I think they kind of got dumbfounded. I think they kind of thought that they were going to get one of those guys, and so now they're just kind of like, ooh.
I don't know this for a fact, but I'm trying to piece together connect some dots if I can, and I'm taking some liberties here. But the word is that Tampa franchise, the owners, the higher ups. That Tampa franchise thinks Liam Cohen is the deal. They think he is the deal. And the word is everybody loves Todd Bowles, the Tampa coach right now. He has had trouble, as I understand. I don't follow Tampa football that close. But the word is Bowles, a lot like Billy Napier, has had a lot of issues game management. He's fumbled a lot of game management.
Yeah, a lot of people say they don't like the way he's handled the clock at the end of the half.
Stuff like that. So I don't know this for a fact, but to me, and this may cause some friction in Tampa, but to me, what happened is Tampa Bay Buccaneer management greatly values Liam Cohen, thinks he's a star in the making, thinks he's going to be a great coach in that league for a long time. They want him. Hard to fire Todd Bowles right now. He's won 3 divisions, I think, in a row.
Yeah.
I can see a situation where, not publicly, the Buccaneer management said, by the way, he got a big raise. He got a fat-ass raise to stay in Tampa. Cohen did. That's understood. That was announced. Got a big raise.
Yeah.
And, Liam, you're our next guy. Liam, you're our head coach in waiting. We're not saying that out loud to make it awkward. And I would think Bowles kind of knows that, too. So you worry about that dynamic in the locker room a little bit in Tampa. But I could see the deal with Cohen turning down this job in Jacksonville, because it sounded like it was his if he wanted it. And that's not a lateral. That's a huge step up. Coordinator to head coach, that's a huge step up. I could see that being the conversation. Liam, you're our guy. It would be a mess to fire Todd right now. He's a good guy. We like him. We don't think he's the guy to take us to, 4 Super Bowls in the next 10 years, kind of thing. We think you are. here's a fat raise. Stick around. Stay with us. You are our next head coach.
Yeah, they probably already feel like they somewhat missed out on their guy, Dave Canales, who's coaching the Panthers right now. And so they don't want to miss out on Liam Cohen. So I can definitely see that being an angle. They don't want him to leave their building. They want him to stay, especially when you have a defensive-minded head coach. You want to have an elite offensive coordinator.
Sure.
So, yeah, that's definitely a side of it from their perspective.
Sure. I keep going back to this because it's reality. It's not good, flashy, sexy reality for Jaguar Nation. But again, I never thought Ben Johnson was even close to being in play here. He came here and interviewed. When you're new to the interview process, you want to get your face in front of you never know when you're going to face these guys again. I never thought he was even remotely going to take this job. Liam Cohen fit who I think they have to get, and the Jaguars. This is a wordy way of going back to what I always say. The Jaguars don't get to choose from the A list. They just don't. That's just the way it is. When it comes to free agencies out there, the big free agents, they don't come to Jacksonville.
Yeah,
the big coaching candidates, they're not coming to Jacksonville.
Yeah, I get that, and that's definitely been the case. But I don't think that's always necessarily has to be the case just because it's been. And I honestly wonder if, a couple of weeks ago, Shad Khan had that press conference where he said something along the lines of it would be suicide to part ways with Trent Baalke,
Yes.
right? And so I genuinely wonder if he had not done that, and instead that press conference would have been, we are moving on from Trent Baalke then instead of now. I wonder if Ben Johnson would have been more of a legitimate candidate. Because, I just don't think that there's anything particularly wrong with this franchise. Like that. With the Chicago Bears, they're one of those franchises that comes with a sense of pride, and pride comes with pressure, and it kind of comes with an unwarranted sense of pressure. Like, they've never been successful in the playoffs. They've never been successful on offense, but they're going to expect them to be now. They're going to expect Caleb Williams to have 4,000 passing yards and 30 touchdowns next season. And with that being the case, I feel like Jacksonville, there's a lot less pressure here. They have a damn pool in the stadium. Like, they just want fans to go there and have fun. And you got this guy, you got Trevor Lawrence, who he hasn't been great, but he's got potential there. He's got all the tools to be successful. He does. And so if you give him an offensive coordinator like Ben Johnson, or a head coach who would run the system, and you have tools in place like Brian Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas Jr. is the real deal. Trent Baalke didn't hit on very many picks. He hit on that guy. And so I think that he could be in that Amon-Ra St. Brown type of role.
If he was the guy that made the final, we're taking this guy.
Who's to say?
I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
Another angle before we take our first break here. Go ahead, Zach. You had one more thing you said?
No, that was pretty much it. It's just that I don't think that there's necessarily this just aura of stink around Jacksonville that just always has to be there. I do think that they're definitely a kind of one of the bigger jokes in the NFL. Like, they're down there with the Clevelands of the world and what Detroit used to be right now. But they don't always have to be like that. But it's a mistake to hang around with Ben Johnson or to hang around with Trent Baalke for an extra month during this critical time period.
Glad you pointed that out. My last point before we go to break is this. If this timing with the Baalke firing and whoever they hire for the GM/coach, if it all works out, it's still a situation where this was a catastrophic failure the way Khan had. He may stumble into something here, but this was not the way to handle this. And you wonder, are there candidates out there that are watching this going, okay, do I want to go play and work for this guy? It took all this for him to figure out to get rid of Baalke. And Zach, if this all somehow roundabout elbow to get to your nose works out, this wasn't the way to handle this by Khan. It was a major screw up that he still might find $20 in his pants pocket, if you know what I mean by that.
Pretty much.
This could work out, but no. This would be literally, you were down to eating your last piece of bread and you found $20 in your pants pocket. And you wonder if candidates out there go, man, this Khan guy, he seems like a super guy, but gosh darn, he doesn't know what he's doing. Do I want to go there? I don't know, but they are coveted jobs, only 32 of them in the world. Wow, breaking news if you haven't heard as we break Trent Baalke out as general manager of the Jacksonville Jaguars. A search is ensuing right now, a double search, if you will. Wow, a lot of work for Shad Khan and his henchmen down there, as they have two big positions to fill, and those positions have nothing to do with scoring touchdowns on the field. That and a whole lot more. We're getting into some college basketball, a lot of other topics here on a cold Wednesday. Terry Norvell and you. The Young and Norvell Show continues on Action Sports Jax.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jax Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jax Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jax Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
The Action Sports Jax 24/7 network is streaming. I'm Stuart Weber, and I'm here to teach you a nice 3-step process on how you can watch all your favorite programming, from the Brent and Austin Show every weekday 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. or the Cup Date with me. It's fantastic. We talk NASCAR. It's a great time. Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. All right, first step, easy. Download the Action News Jax app. You probably already have it downloaded on your phone, so you might already have that one taken care of. Step 2, see that stack of pancakes up there? You click that stack of pancakes, and it's going to bring down step number 3, which is a full screen of all the different streams that you can click on, including the Action Sports Jax 24/7 stream. You click that, the video's rocking and rolling on your mobile device. You're watching all the shows you want to, and you're having a good time. You can also do it on your smart TV with the Action News Jax Now app. I do it on my Samsung TV at home. It's a great way to watch it on a nice, large screen for all the content. That's the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Hope you can find it.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
All right, here we are back again here on a Wednesday. We take it to 6 o'clock. I want to thank again Brent Martineau for jumping on with some breaking news. Most people are aware, but Brent jumped on here on Action Sports Jax and really gave a great dissertation on his thoughts on Shad Khan, who earlier today it was announced Shad Khan has fired Trent Baalke. Jaguars now are head coachless and general managerless on, January 22nd. as we welcome you back. Brent Beard will join us a little bit later. Also, we hope to hear from Dr. Aaron Bates with our sports medicine segment, courtesy of Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. And Patrick Young traveling. I got to believe there's some bad weather in Charlotte. I hope Patrick's safe. He got there yesterday, but, man, I got to believe the weather is terrible up in Charlotte as well. Patrick with his SEC Media, SEC Network studio work last night and tonight. We'll talk some college basketball. Matter of fact, Zach Rothrock, Zachary Rothrock. Little contest on the hardwood tonight from the Southeastern Conference. Those filthy buzzards known as the South Carolina Gamecocks, those filthy buzzards.
Yeah.
They're at home entertaining the beautiful, everybody loves them, Florida Gator basketball squad. South Carolina 0-5 in conference, but South Carolina, since they've been in the league, in the SEC, basketball-wise, when they're an underdog and they play one of the big boys at home, Kentucky, Florida, Alabama, they're tough there. This game worries me a little bit. If South Carolina's going to win a game at some point in conference, I'm a little worried about this game tonight at 7 o'clock, I think it is, on SEC Network. I'm a little worried about this game for the Gators.
Yeah, I mean, it is the men's team, not the ladies' team, so they got a much better. Yeah, they got a lot better of a shot. But yeah, I mean, I've seen Coach Calipari get thrown out of the arena when he was coaching Kentucky when they were ranked pretty highly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can understand your concerns, but I think the Gators will be able to come out with a pretty easy win, if I had to guess.
So basketball. Well, let me real quick. Last night, Alabama, the two marquee teams that played last night, and the SEC, their midweeks are Tuesday, Wednesday. You play on Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Saturday. The two real marquee from last night, Alabama and Tennessee, they both played, not each other. They played separate games, and they won going away. So there was not a lot of drama last night. Tonight, games of note. Florida at South Carolina. I think that's a little bit of a dicey game for the Gators. Boy, I hope they get a big lead and put this thing away. A real nice matchup in Oxford tonight. Number 13, Texas A&M at Ole Miss. Ole Miss playing good basketball right now. Boy, they undressed Alabama in Tuscaloosa. I think it was a week ago. Yeah, it was last week. They undressed Alabama. They held – Alabama leads the nation in scoring. They scored over 100 the last two games. Ole Miss held them to 64 points, Zach. And you know how good Alabama is. They get it running up and down, man.
Yeah, the SEC's a basketball conference now.
Really is. It's a bear. It really is. An important game tonight, I think, for Georgia. Mike White in Georgia. Georgia's not going to win the SEC, but they're better than they have been. And I think the key to guarantee, if you finish in the top half of the SEC, there's 18, right? There's, 18 programs now? 16.
Yeah,
16.
Yeah, Texas, Oklahoma makes
16, I'm sorry. 16. If you finish in the top half, you're guaranteed. They're going to at least get 8 in. So Georgia's biggest charge, and they've won a couple games already in conference. They're better. They are better. Georgia is at Arkansas, and that would concern me if I'm a Georgia fan. Arkansas is also bagel in the conference. They haven't won one under Calipari. They've gotten routed in a few games. They're over. That's in Fayetteville. That place, when you get a big crowd, particularly when they're the underdog, that can be a tough place to play. That's a dicey game, a game that Georgia needs. Georgia needs to win. If Georgia wants to finish in the top 8, you got to go beat winless conference player Arkansas.
Yeah, you gotta win the games you're supposed to win if you want to make it to the top.
Got to go win. Last night, a little bit of a disappointing game for Missouri. Missouri, who beat Florida the other night in Gainesville last week, and that was not a fluke. Missouri beat Florida. The final score was 1 point. That was not a 1-point game. Missouri beat Florida pretty good last week. Missouri got ranked. They popped up at 22 coming out of that Florida win last week and promptly went and lost to Texas last night. So not a great game for Missouri after getting ranked for the first time. And then, Zach, sometimes the schedules – everybody kind of gets bumped one week. Well, this week, just because there's only so many games and so many teams that can play, this week, midweek-wise, Auburn and Kentucky both do not play a midweek game. So two of the marquee teams do not play either last night or tonight. Don't look now, though. Tennessee at Auburn Saturday. That is Tennessee. Okay. That is former number 1 team in the nation. Tennessee with only 2 losses taking on current number one team in the nation, one loss, Auburn. So that will be the biggest SEC game to date in regular season. Coming up Saturday, Auburn will host Tennessee. Ooh, that'll be a good one. That will be a good. Did you see? I may have asked you yesterday, Zach, or no, you weren't on yesterday. Did you happen to see this past Saturday, Alabama at Kentucky on Saturday? It was a noon tip Saturday. This past,
I did not.
Man, it was fun. You talk about two teams that get it. 102-97, Bama wins, and up and down the court. A lot of fun.
Yeah, that's a lot for a college game.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Speaking of those buzzards, the female variety, are they good again? South Carolina, Dawn Staley?
Yeah, not undefeated good, but they seem to be on track.
Did you see where she got about $25 million? See that?
Yeah, I mean I'd have to say she's got to be worth it. I mean, she's putting them on the map. I don't really know. I mean, I know the women's, they don't get as much revenue as the men do, but I mean, it's hard to dominate harder than she's been dominating, and they're always relevant. They're always talked about. They're always, I mean, I guess Caitlin Clark got talked about more than they did last year, but they beat her.
We'll continue some Jaguar talk, obviously, the big news.
Yeah, actually, so on our comment line, we had Jay and McNaya. They kind of had like it's kind of the duality of Jaguar fans, you know?
Go ahead.
Jay says, y'all been saying Lawrence has potential for 5 years. Time to give it up. He had that contract. He and that contract is reason coaches aren't coming, which, I mean, fair point. And then McNaya tries to be positive. Says, Trevor was not the problem. I believe with coaching, he's going to get better. So, just the duality of Jaguar fans.
Yeah.
And I tend to try to be more positive than negative. So, I tend to try to lean towards McNaya. But, man, it is very, very easy to understand Jay and where you're coming from with that. And as a person that hates Clemson, I like to kind of lean into it. And
so, if Trevor's out there going down, Beach Boulevard with his thumb out needing a ride, depending on one of those guys, he's either getting a ride or you better look out, he may get run over.
Yeah, it depends. I think it's a coin flip. It's a coin flip. If he went into Waffle House like he did after that Chargers playoff win, I'm not sure that he'd be greeted exactly the same.
I don't know where I stand. I need to put more thought process into what I'm about to throw out with the Jaguars. But I wonder what the fan base, where the fan base would lean. The Con hire, which is going to happen soon. They're going to hire a head football coach here in Jacksonville soon. I wonder if the majority of the fan base would want to take a flyer on a Liam Cohen type, a coordinator that hasn't been a head coach, or would they want to go ahead and say, let's do the recycled thing, McCarthy, Saleh, let's do the recycled thing, a guy that doesn't have to learn everything about being a head coach. You know, I wonder where that would fall with Jaguar Nation.
Yeah, I'm not sure about how the fan base in general would feel, but to me, getting McCarthy kind of feels like the exact same hire as Doug Peterson. Like, you just got that guy, the guy who was an offensive-minded guy who had another job and won a Super Bowl. And then I would much rather have the Liam Cohen. I mean, and you know, that guy might not be great. He might not be a head coach. Like, Ben Johnson might not be a head coach.
No.
He might be a huge blunder and might fail.
Yep.
But the only way that you can get that guy and have him be your head coach and have him be your Sean McVay is to make him be the first place that he is the head coach.
Yeah.
And that's the only way you can ever make that happen. So to me, I want to see what's behind the mystery door. I want to see what Liam Cohen's got.
Liam said no.
Yeah.
I still think my theory is right. He got a big raise, but I think it's pretty understood. Liam, when we hire the next football coach, and we will, because the NFL coaches generally don't last a long time, right? The NFL's a cycled league, man. The Belichicks are rare, at one spot.
Yeah, that's why they call it the carousel. It's just the guys get fired here, they get hired over here.
I would think that, is it the Glazers? Do they still own the Bucks? I would think.
I think so.
Yeah. I would think they have made it known to Cohen, here's a big fat raise. Stay exactly where you're at, running our offense. By the way, we like what you're doing.
That's what they should do.
You're our quarterback knows you. You know our quarterback. You're our guy. Todd Bowles won't be the coach forever. Nobody's the coach forever. Like I said, the Belichick's going 18 years at one spot or whatever it was. That's rare. It's very rare.
Yeah, those days are coming to an end.
I think Cohen is the unofficial, official coach of record, coach on the record, next coach. on the clock.
Yeah, the coaching waiting,
whatever
so
I'm
to
trying to
speak.
whatever the hell I'm trying to say. Interesting, a lot going on. But no, wouldn't you think, because Khan had already started going his second go around with these interviews, right? Many guys have come in for their second one. He's going to offer and hire a guy. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't happen before the week's out. I wouldn't be surprised if it wouldn't happen by Friday.
It should. I don't know what the latest into the offseason a coach gets hired, but it feels like it can't be too far past
I think
February.
Peterson went long. I think the hiring of Peterson was long.
That sounds familiar.
But I think that was extremely rare. It may have even made it into March. It was long. It took a long time, but that was extremely rare. I would think there's a head coach announced by end of news cycle Friday. Get it out there so it can have some life of its own. Doesn't get buried. I'm gonna put that's where I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say the Jaguars will have a football coach named publicly by midnight Friday.
Yeah, I don't really think that.
Let's put $1 million. You'll put $1 million on it. $1 million on that?
No, well, I would want to be on the side that says he is going to be hired or will be hired by Friday. But yeah.
Okay. Well, then how about this? If he is hired by Friday midnight, you give me $1 million, and you want some of the action. So if he is not, you give me $1 million.
I don't know how that math adds up.
You don't like that? You don't like that?
No, I'm not sure about that.
I thought I'd sneak that by that little South Carolina buzzard. That little South Carolina buzzard brain of yours. There you go. Hey, let's take a break. Come back. We've got a lot of stuff to get into. We're going to talk a lot of college football. Want to look at the final poll, the final college football poll, which really doesn't matter now. Obviously, you have a win it on the field national champion with this 12-team playoff. But I want to look at how the final poll wrapped up, and who feels like their final spot in the final football top 25 was a positive, and who feels like it was a negative where they ended up. And we'll also try and look at some of those way too early college football top 25 preseason poll going into 2025. Let's take a break, come back, and talk some more sports with you. The Young and Norvell Show continues on a cold Wednesday in Jacksonville, right here on Action Sports Jack.
For those dealing from a sports injury, arthritis, or spine condition, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists offers innovative new non-surgical options. Our regenerative medicine treatments, including platelet-rich plasma and other regenerative treatments, use your body's own restorative cells to aid in treating injuries. These procedures are performed in our offices and typically require minimal downtime. If you want to get back to doing what you love, our regenerative treatment options may be right for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jax to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jax in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jax 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms. Whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV, you can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jax 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who's coming to your house. You know they will be well trained and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com. Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. boldcityac.com, and they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown.
Today in Jacksonville, the big news is, of course, Trent Baalke has been fired by Shad Khan. That came out publicly a couple of hours ago, after lunch, at least. So the Jaguars right now, what is that, Zach, as we welcome you back to the Young and Norvell show here on a Wednesday? The two biggest non-football jobs in the organization are open, right? I mean, head coach, general manager.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. If you want to be one of those guys that gets, I guess, what they call full control, it is open in Jacksonville at the moment.
Yeah. Interesting. Again, I think a head coach will be named by Friday at midnight. They were so deep into the process. I know Liam Cohen might have been the guy they wanted to hand the job to and have him take it. He pulled his name out. What about the news, though? Like I said, the three pieces of news today out of the NFL. One coach is hired officially, right? Aaron Glenn, Jets.
Yeah.
So they get their guy by way of Detroit. And then the other two pieces of news, which is much like what's happened with the Jaguars over the last so many decades, the two national Jaguar pieces of NFL news are negative, right? I mean, Zach, Baalke's fired, and Liam Cohen says, thanks, but no thanks. I'll stay the offensive coordinator in Tampa. And again, I think he has been promised that is his job when it opens in a few years, and it will. And
feels like it.
And it will. This doesn't matter. Baalke's gone. Baalke, has been in the process of cleaning out his office, and I don't think any of us wish any ill will. It's just a football sports job. Probably a nice guy. Really doesn't appear that he is cut out to be a general manager. The job a little too big for him. He's failed pretty much, right? Where he's been. But it makes you wonder. A couple weeks ago, I started calling him Svengali, the Svengali Baalke. And, a Svengali kind of has some type of power over somebody. You've heard that phrase, right? A Svengali.
I have not.
Sometimes it's like you're the mentor, you're the overseer of someone. You have that person in your spell, kind of, right? Wouldn't you like to know what was the selling point for Shad Khan on Trent Baalke? I mean,
yeah, like initially.
I mean, his resume didn't. The first time Baalke got interviewed by Khan for the general manager job here, Baalke's resume wasn't great, right? He had flopped pretty much in San Fran.
Yeah,
ran out Jim Harbaugh, by the way.
Yeah.
That Jim Harbaugh, who is now setting records as college and NFL coaching and being very successful at both. That Khan, if he called around the league when he was interviewing Baalke, it couldn't have been glowing reports, right? If you called around the league coming out of San Francisco about Baalke, he wouldn't have got glowing, right?
It's hard to imagine they were too good, yeah.
What do you think the Svengali had on? What did he? What was it? There had to be something. I mean, you're like, man, why is that really hot girl dating that ugly guy? There's got to be something, right? It's not his looks, right? I mean, what did he have that mesmerized via the Svengali approach? Something mesmerized Shad Khan.
Yeah, typically when it's the guy, I assume the guy has a lot of money, but I don't think that Trent Baalke had a lot of money over Shad Khan. So I don't know. I don't know what. Yeah, it's hard to put my thumb on exactly what was happening there.
It makes you wonder. It doesn't matter, but you wonder. And wouldn't you say? I think it's safe to say Trent Baalke's days as a general manager are over. He was already talking retirement.
Yeah, I mean, nobody imagine. It's hard to imagine that he would have another one. I mean, maybe in a college position of some sort. There's college GM jobs popping up all over the place right now. But,
if he wants to do something.
I don't know.
But he was already talking retirement, right?
Yeah, I think there was. Yeah,
a little bit of talk about that.
Yeah,
a little bit of talk of that. Hey, let's take it back to the college national championship game. Ohio State won it all a couple nights ago.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Day got his win, and did you? I think we've got the clip, and we'll go to it in a second. Ryan Day, take a look at this. Here's Ryan Day going to the big press conference. Wham! The poor girl. Look, and it's stuck against the wall. The cart. Look. So Ryan Day, he just battled Notre Dame for 3. Look, the police officer can't get it off. There's one of the players, 2 of the players, looks like the quarterback, and they're like, I'm out. That girl had one, look, and they just leave her. Ryan, I'll walk. No, I'm good. No, I'm good. He's trying not to smile and laugh. Watch this again. He's going to, look at me. I got the coveted job of driving the coach into the wall.
I mean, to her credit, I feel like she was turning that wheel pretty hard. She was cutting it pretty hard to the left, and it just wasn't turning.
Zach, well, now she's stuck on the wall. So here's Ryan Day.
I thought she was about to do the Austin Powers and be stuck and go back. Yeah.
Here's Ryan Day. He has battled Notre Dame for what, 3.5 hours. Things got a little dicey at the end. Notre Dame made a little bit of a comeback. Ryan Day, the pressure of an entire state on his shoulders, right? Buckeye Nation breathing down his neck. He finally gets a win, and he gets run into the wall. Zach, the poor girl had one job. What? And they couldn't get it off. So, Zach, it got me wondering. We don't have the audio of what he said because a reporter put a microphone when he was behind the cart. You can't see it. I did obtain audio, but I couldn't figure out how to get it to you. So let me tell you what was asked as Ryan Day got out of that golf cart. The reporter said, Ryan Day, Ohio State Buckeyes head football coach, you just won the college football national championship. What are you going to do now? And normally that's followed with, I'm going to Disney World, right?
Yeah, for the Super Bowl at least, yeah.
Ryan Day said, I'm going to the emergency room to get my broken back checked out.
Yeah.
She ran him right into the wall.
That's pretty tough. And the I don't know if it's better or worse actually that it was so quickly. The thing didn't even get up to speed at all and was immediately into the wall.
No, and
pretty tough.
And it sounds like you were just describing. It sounds like you were Eli Gold describing a NASCAR race just then. Trying to get up to speed and we got into the wall.
Yeah.
But the best I could tell, that was Ryan Day, probably had just left the field. You know how they do the presentation, the confetti. So he had been out on the field doing all his media, the live TV, probably hit a bunch of the taped recordings and got on the podium and was handed the trophy, all of that. And that was the cart. He probably just walked off the field right there in one of those VOMs right there, walk-in areas. And the big press conference room, all the stadiums have the big room. He was going to go face the media in the big room, but it was probably a good walk. So, of course, a courtesy golf cart was there.
Well.
And, I'm sure that young lady, what'd she look like? Late 20s probably, she wasn't a teenager. She was a little bit older. Probably a volunteer that had done it. Look, she probably done this, helped out with the bowl game for 10 years probably. Yeah. Boom! So she got that coveted position, right? Okay, Susie, Here's what you got. You're going to take the winning coach. You got one job. Just drive the winning coach 400 yards to the big conference room. You got it? Oh, yeah, I got it. Can you handle it? Oh, yeah, I got it. Zach, she ran. Well, my bigger question is, why was it aimed that way to start with? I think
she was set up.
The starting aim was not good. Now, you almost made it sound like there might be a little conspiracy there.
Yeah.
Because you said are you saying somebody may have messed around with the alignment or something, the chassis or something?
I mean, yeah. Looking at it, I definitely can't rule out a foul play. I definitely can't rule out that potentially Connor Stallions may have positioned this golf cart to run directly into the wall.
The Michigan guy?
Yeah, Connor Stallions.
I like it because you're right. I mean, she was turning that wheel. We'll go back in a minute. She was turning that wheel harder than Johnny Depp on the Black Pearl.
Yeah, I feel like, she was cutting hard left. She is. Yeah, look at it.
Fire it up again. Look at the wheels, the front wheels, and look at her hands.
Yeah, she's cutting. I mean, you can't cut it any harder to the left.
I mean, damn.
Set up. She's set up. Set up for failure.
And then the steering mechanism just broke, so maybe it was barely even. It was loosened.
Something.
You think that was Connor Stallions?
I think Connor Stallions potentially just in a fit of rage. There's nothing he can do to stop Ohio State from winning. But what he can do is he can sabotage Ryan Day mildly.
Who
get
was
him in
the
this
guy?
Minor accident.
Who? You know what this sounds a lot like? Who was the guy? Updike. Harvey Updike. This could be either Connor Stallions, your theory, the Michigan guy that just could not stand. He tried to take Ryan Day out. That's what he tried to do. He could not stand to see the rival.
Yeah, that's like his last. That's like his last move he's got right there to try to end Ohio State season.
Take out Ryan Day.
Yeah,
so
him out.
It could either be Connor Stallions, or you know what I'm gonna throw in there. It might be that Blondie, the driver. She's probably 30 years old, so she strikes me as she's probably worked for that bowl game. Maybe even in a volunteer for 10 years, right? She's worked her way up. That's a coveted position right there. Wouldn't you agree? You're driving the winning coach.
Golf cart driver. Yeah.
You're driving the winning coach and the game.
That's not an intern.
And the game MVP. I think that's probably the quarterback right back there in the t-shirt.
I think that's Will Howard. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a coveted position. She's probably been in that position, worked her way up. You just said it. That might be the number 2 person in line that said, "I'm tired of waiting."
Oh, I didn't think about that.
I'm tired of waiting.
Yeah.
And you know where that comes?
That's spicy.
That reminds me of Harvey Updike. Your theory reminds me of Harvey. Harvey Updike could be the Connor Stallions here. Harvey Updike was the Alabama fan that poisoned the trees at Toomer's Corner.
Yeah, that guy.
You remember that story?
Oh, yeah. I watched the 30 for 30. Oh, yeah.
He was so much of an Alabama fan, and he was incensed when Auburn won the Iron Bowl in Tuscaloosa over Alabama, and Auburn fans celebrating decided to put a Cam Newton jersey on the Bear Bryant statue. And that ticked off Alabama superfan Harvey Updike so much, he goes, retribution.
What a couple of amazing individuals.
You think I'm going to pay these, what's back. And remember, he went and I think he studied online and had to find out chemicals that he could mix together that would 100%, if poured at the base. I mean, those are old big trees. Mm-hmm. Kill those trees, and he did that.
I guarantee he did more science than he ever did in high school he was. Yeah,
you remember that guy? What a piece of work! And he calls the Paul Feinbaum show. He got busted.
Yeah, bragging about.
Well, you know what? They disgraced us. Those damn Tigers. They disgraced the great Bear Bryant. Well, let me tell you what I did, Paul. I poisoned them damn trees.
Oh yeah, he's like,
and you remember they've got that footage on that documentary, and Feinbaum's like. Come again? Mm-hmm. Say that again? Yeah, I went. You know them damn trees at Toomer's Corner they love at Auburn? Mm-hmm. Well, they disgraced something of ours. We love Bear Bryant's statue. You can't do that in Alabama.
He just completely violated his own Fifth Amendment rights.
So he goes on, and then obviously, what was the story in that 30 for 30? Authorities working with Bryant kind of traced it back, and it wasn't that hard. The next time he called in, right.
They were able to figure out the guy's identity and everything. Yeah, and piece together that it was definitely true.
And that dude That dude died in prison. I think he did some time, and then I think he got in trouble again, something unrelated. But, man, that piece of work.
I feel like he ate a lot of biscuits and gravy.
Yeah. And I don't think he was the smartest guy I've ever run across in my life.
No, definitely not. But I mean, definitely smart enough to be able to understand botany, I guess.
I'm surprised a guy like that didn't drink his own poison somehow.
He probably tried. He probably was like, man, I probably get messed up on this.
But your theory, Connor Stalions, the Michigan guy, what was he doing? The sign stealer.
Yeah, he's the official sign stealer. He took his job really seriously too.
My God, he's somewhere. Where's he at? He got a job somewhere, didn't he?
He
got like Central Michigan or Iowa.
I think it was wasn't it a high school job?
Might have been a high school job.
I think that his team got blown out several times.
Because that's the kind of guy we want around the youth of America, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Belleville High School. He's offensive coordinator.
Yeah, the guy that did anything to cheat, call, and break every rule just to win. That's who we want around the youth of America, right?
Yeah, I see the North Carolina Tar Heels hired too. They just hired the NFL version of that as their head coach.
Oh, Belly?
Yeah,
Belly.
Yeah.
So I guess Belly's going to make it to college, right? He's going to make it.
I think he's all in. I don't think it's an act. I think he's all in.
Yeah, you think so?
at least for a year or two.
I still, man, I can see the visual in my head. It's going to be, and I always pick Richmond, but I think it's Richmond because one or two of their non-conference are against small schools. The Richmond Spiders is one that North Carolina plays, and they're out of conference again. And somebody like Charlotte or Charleston College.
I definitely think they play UNC Charlotte.
Yeah, can you look that up real quick?
They play the Charlotte 49ers.
Charlotte 49ers.
And they also do play the Richmond Spiders.
And Richmond. And I know for a fact that Charlotte just fired their coach. So Charlotte obviously didn't hire some big-name guy. And Richmond obviously doesn't have some. Bill Belichick is going to be on the opposite sideline against the head coach at Richmond and the head coach of Charlotte.
He'll be on the road at the UCF Knights, too. It's actually a 3-game stretch, all 3 of those games.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Bill Belichick will be knocking heads with the head coach of the Richmond Spiders. That Bill Belichick. That's crazy to me.
I mean, yeah, but I think the
America.
NFL got stale, and I think he likes the way the college is set up now. I think he wants to give it a crack.
Hey, I haven't had you. We got a couple minutes before the top of the hour, and then we hope to hear from Dr. Aaron Bates with our sports medicine segment. I haven't heard from you. Let me read one real quick. We got another message. Ben Johnson probably did not give Jags the time of day, but I don't think it was solely due to Baalke. However, I do feel Baalke gone is totally the correct decision. I think most people feel that way. I think most people do feel that way. Thanks for the comment, Jonathan. Zach, what was I talking about a moment ago?
Definitely Bill Belichick, but you're about to switch to something else.
Belichick.
You said you didn't think I'd got my opinion on...
I don't know. Jonathan, dang it, Jonathan. Jonathan, I got dadgum Alzheimer's. Jonathan, what are you doing, for God's sakes? Right in the middle of my... I don't know, Zach. What was it? It was so important, I can't remember it.
There you go.
So important, I can't remember. I tell you what.
We'll get at the top of the hour.
We'll top of the hour, get to a break. Hopefully talk some sports medicine with Dr. Aaron Bates, and we'll go from there. I'll see if I can remember it. I cannot do it. I can't do it. My name is, I think, Terry Norvell. I don't know. And I think we're going on a break, and I think we'll be back after the top of the hour. Big news breaking out of Jacksonville. Trent Baalke has been fired as the general manager of the Jacksonville Jaguars. 1 down, 1 to go. An hour, that is. We'll come back talking more sports on the other side. The Young and Norvell Show right here on Action Sports Jax. Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jax Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jax Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jax Beach.
For over 20 years, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists has been providing the highest level of orthopedic and spine care to patients throughout Northeast Florida. Now, we're making that same great care even more convenient with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Direct, a walk-in clinic where you can be seen for pain or injuries with no appointment needed. Staffed by orthopedic physicians and specialists, we offer everything from diagnosis and treatment to imaging and bracing, all with no appointment needed. For more information, hours, and locations, visit our website.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jax to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jax in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jax 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jax 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
Summertime means sizzling sales at Nimnick Buick GMC. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville has lots of inventory to choose from with their best price guarantee. Nimnick never charges above MSRP. You can save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierras or get rates as low as 1.9%.
You know, I'm a truck guy. GMC Sierra, my trim level is an SLT. This one's an Elevation. Pretty good looking color as well. So here at Nimnick Buick GMC, you have a lot to pick from. My father-in-law, he drives this, an Enclave, so I feel like that GMC in the family. 2025 is coming around the corner, which means it's almost time to close out those 2024s this summer.
You can schedule a test drive at NimnickBuickGMC.com, and while you're there, check your trade value and customize your payment options. Nimnick is there for you, even on Sundays. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
Okay, let's get it to some sports medicine, as it is time to talk some sports medicine with, of course, our main man, our buddy, Dr. Aaron Bates from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. Dr. Bates, before we get started, some topics. Your vantage point the other night, I know you're a big college football fan as well, as we all of us are. No doubt, I don't think most people would agree. Ohio State's the best team in the country. I mean, they win the title and probably best roster top to bottom. They got awakened probably with that Michigan loss, but do you subscribe to that same theory? Ohio State, a worthy national champion?
You know, I like to admit it, but yes.
Yeah.
They're obviously the best team in the country.
Sure looked real good. Big news around here, breaking, Doc. Probably, and I don't know if you've been in a hire fire situation where you probably knew you had to fire somebody and you kind of pushed it off and then you had to do it. I think that's where Shad Khan got with regard today with Trent Baalke. Probably the move that needed to be made earlier, and it's weird. Liam Cohen turning down the Jaguar job probably was the final push off the plank. What are your thoughts on the Khan finally making the move with Baalke?
Well, it doesn't seem like the organization was going the right direction.
No.
And so for as many years as that's been going on, got to make a change.
Yeah, definitely. Dr. Aaron Bates, of course, from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist, one of their wonderful orthopedic surgeons. Doc, a couple of topics we want to knock around with you here, as we do every Wednesday here about this time. Jalen Hurts, some type of, and I never will keep sprain, strain apart, but Jalen Hurts was some type of knee issue, came back into the game, was ginger, wasn't Jalen Hurts. My overall question, we're going to have cold weather again. It's going to be cold. Does that help the type of injury? You know, I mean, that's an injury you put ice on, right? Immediately, it's going to be in the 30s. Does that help that type of injury being a cold weather game?
That's a good question. But first of all, I think Jalen Hurts has a MCL sprain based on the mechanism of action or mechanism of injury. I can't say for sure, but there are different grades to those MCL injuries. The medial collateral ligament, which is on the inside part of the knee. And if it's a grade 1, he can likely go back and try to play like he did in the game.
Yeah.
But just generally in the cold weather, it really is not as good for those musculoskeletal injuries that are trying to heal up. And the reason being is you actually do better when an injured soft tissue is warm.
Oh, really?
As far as playing and being functional.
Interesting.
Because you have a lot more blood flow to that area.
Yeah.
In cold weather, your blood gets shunted towards your core because you're trying to keep your body warm. And so, the blood flow is less in those areas where you have those musculoskeletal injuries.
So I think you answered something just then, but I'm going to ask it. So when an injury occurs, there's generally swelling, and you want the swelling to go down. You put the ice on it. Does that make the blood go away from that area?
Correct.
And that's why it goes down. Interesting. Yeah.
Correct. Because in the beginning, that's what you want.
Yes.
You want to decrease the inflammation.
Yeah. And
go ahead.
And when you send for imaging, you want the swelling to be gone, because if it's swollen up, you might miss something. Is it just not as clear an image? Is that the deal when you want it to get imaged?
No, I think that's been a misnomer over the years.
Okay.
There are certain things that we want to wait to have imaging for, but particularly MRIs, it doesn't matter if there's swelling in there.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
We can see whatever soft tissue we need to see. Boy,
they're going to need Hurts at near 100%, though. His running, obviously, Barkley gets the bulk of it, but boy, that's a nice 1-2, because you start defending Barkley, he pulls it out, and there he goes. There goes Hurts. Right.
If there's no threat for him to run,
sure.
Well, then Washington's got a advantage.
And Doc, you played football, Towson State. That's up in that Baltimore, D.C. area, correct?
Correct.
So did you, are the Redskins your team of record as a youngster, or do you have a team of record in the NFL? Or?
No, I'm a Ravens guy.
Ravens.
They came in '96.
Okay.
I was never really a Colts fan. Growing up, I had a lot of good friends that were Redskins fans, and their families were Redskins fans, and it just annoyed me. So I was never a Redskins fan. I became a Cowboys fan for a while.
Oh, no.
Until I got sick of Jerry Jones when he fired Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
I can't do that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess we're both calling them the wrong name. They're Commanders, Commanders now.
Yeah, exactly.
Gosh darn. I'll never get that one right. Are they still talking about maybe getting the Redskin name back? I thought I heard a little bit of talk about that within a year or two.
I haven't heard anything like that.
They can change the name. They can't make us say it, though, right?
Correct.
Right. They can't make us say it. Doc, all the rage or a big story developing in our society, and it's not going to go away, all the AI. The AI. I'm learning it, don't know it all. I bring this up. I just happened to run across a couple of headlines and articles the last several days, and I don't know the in-depth on this. Maybe you do. Some of the stuff I read says AI is going to play a big part in the future, even maybe has started, in sports medicine, rehab, genetic predisposition, stuff like that. I don't understand all that, but everything I see, AI in medicine says there's going to be an application where AI may be a good friend.
We've been going back and forth with that, but AI is here to stay most likely.
Yeah.
So you have to learn to live with it. I don't know exactly what capacity is going to be involved or pushed through. But basically AI is just bringing information from all different services that's on the internet. And so they're able to gather that stuff a lot quicker than you can or I can, and kind of summarize a certain topic.
Interesting. So, man, I know, I guess I use some of it in show prep and all, the AI. Man, that Chat GPT is unbelievable for me.
Right.
It's just unbelievable. But yeah, I've been seeing a lot of headlines that, and I don't think you're being vague. I think it's just going to feel its way out. But the word is, yeah, there's going to be some good, positive applications that AI can help the good guys help the issues,
right.
You know?
Right. I mean, if there's different thought processes on certain ways that you treat something, there'll be so many studies that show it is better this way. So many studies show it better this way. So the AI is better able to interpret all that instead of us going out and reading 100 articles and just trying to figure it out.
Totally different subject. I wanted to throw this your way as well, visiting with Dr. Aaron Bates as we do on Wednesdays, our sports medicine segment presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. With regard to athletes, athletics is so competitive. You want an edge. You have to train to keep up with the Joneses. You have to put in your cardio. You have to put in your weight training because everybody else is at the highest level. Can these guys can overdevelopment ever be something negative? I mean, can the Saquon Barklers of the world get their quads so big and strong? Can the biceps, triceps, overdevelopment, overtraining can ever be bad?
That's a good question. I think in some senses it can, particularly if you have muscle imbalance. Like your quads get so much stronger than your hamstrings. There's muscle imbalance, and that can lead to ACL tears, things like that. But there's very specific areas where overtraining is probably not as good.
Yeah.
For the most part, people want to get stronger, better, faster.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say that, like the quad. I would imagine correct me if I'm wrong, as you often do. I'm often wrong. The quad, in some degree, works in concert with the calf. If the quad is much more stronger and developed than the calf, could that imbalance cause problems, or vice versa?
Possibly. I'm not quite sure as far as quad calf imbalance, but it's been studied about quad hamstring imbalance.
Okay, they're more related. Okay, I just picked the wrong. I just picked the wrong. Doc, we won't visit again. The championship games will be come and gone. Give us your thoughts. Washington, clear underdog. Philadelphia playing real good at home. KC going for a three-peat. Buffalo really seems like they have earmarked this year. This is the year we can get them. They've beat them in the regular season. It really appears that Buffalo. Start with Washington and Philadelphia. What do you think, Doc? You know football as well as anybody. You've played at a high level. Washington, Philly, at Philly.
I think Washington is a hotter team right now.
Agreed.
We just don't know what a rookie quarterback in that situation is going to do. Now, he has certainly been playing well all year and is getting better all year. And so I'm certainly rooting for him. I mean, I'm a Jalen Hurts fan as well.
Sure.
I remember when he played for my buddy Mike Loxley at Alabama.
Yep.
And so I think Philadelphia probably has a better defense. Defense wins championships. But and so I think Philadelphia will pull it out. But I'm just certainly looking for a good game. And if J.D. Daniels gets one, wow, that would be great.
It would be. I want to hold you there. I follow a lot of your thought process. Washington is a fun, fresh story. A lot to like about them. The clear underdog. Flip side, I don't necessarily like the Philadelphia Eagles organization. I don't. Right. It's a personal preference. But Jalen Hurts is easy to root for. He's always seemed to me a class act. He's humble, even keel. But I'm with you. I think maybe the home field pushes them over. I'm pulling for Washington, but I think Philly. Switch to the AFC. And by the way, NFC goes first. NFC 3 o'clock, AFC 6:30. So the marquee game of the two, obviously, would be the two-time defending champions, the Chiefs at home. Buffalo, man, oh man, oh man. I know it's a tall order, Doc, for Buffalo to get over this mountaintop, but you got to start asking Buffalo, if not now, when? Because, these windows go quick. Buffalo's been in their window. And damn, love them or hate them, it seems like when the play of record or the drive of record in a game pops up, Kansas City seems to make that play or that drive. What do you think of that, the big one in the AFC?
Well, I'm like a lot of the other folks in the country that can't stand the Chiefs, who lives outside of KC, because all the calls they get and all that. Listen, they are a great organization. Mahomes, he's awesome. He's shown it year in and year out. But I certainly want to see them lose. I'm kind of torn because I think Baltimore should have been there. And
yeah, I was pulling for them.
Jackson and Josh Allen they're playing their butts off.
They really are.
And Baltimore just had too many turnovers.
Yeah.
But Buffalo's shown that they can beat KC and KC.
Yeah.
And so I'm certainly rooting for them.
Yeah, I'm pulling for Buffalo in this one. I don't hate KC. I'm just pulling for Buffalo, and I'm with you. I think they may pull the upset. Doc, as we let you go, along the lines of Mahomes and what you said about him, and what a lot of the non-KC NFL people feel about him, fans. This popped up on the the headlines of ESPN. They hit different stories. So the headline that just popped up about 30 minutes ago on ESPN's page. Mahomes. It says, okay, this is Mahomes. Refs not giving favorable calls to Chiefs. So you need to chase that with, in related news, Patrick Mahomes' nose grows like Pinocchio. I mean, right. How many people are seeing that headline? Mahomes, refs not favorable to calls favoring the Chiefs. How many people are going, are you kidding me, Patrick?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, I guess he's got to play the game,
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? That one on the sideline where he clearly took a dive, why would you not do that if you're Patrick Mahomes?
Well, yeah, I mean, if it's within the rules of the game and he's just exercising that, you're going to give the quarterback that much advantage.
Yeah.
Well, then why would he not do that?
And see, you said something really good right there. Within the rules of the game, I think flopping is not a rule necessarily in the NFL like it is in, the NBA. You can get called, but if you remember, it was Kenny Pickett, who's in the NFL now. He played his college football at Pittsburgh, and you remember in the bowl game, he did the fake slide.
Yeah.
And then they ruled that after the season, they had to say, wait a minute, you can't deke like that. But Mahomes didn't do a fake anything. He just dove out of bounds.
Right.
So,
I was saying to somebody the other day, they need to make a flopping, penalty.
In the NFL?
This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Quarterback can get away with whatever.
Yeah, I do. And spoken like a linebacker, but I do feel for the defenders. I mean, it is a real sticky wicket. Full speed. Hey, how about your situation? Doc, you knew it was 3rd and 1 when you broke that huddle defensively. Right. And you knew, and there's the ball carrier, and it happens to be the quarterback. You're going as fast as you can. Man, late slides, fake slides, tough. It's tough.
It's tough to ref and officiate that.
It really is.
By the rules that they're supposed to officiate, understand that, but this is ridiculous.
And then
and just like the roughing the passer that was called on Mahomes. I mean, it looked like he hit him in the head. He didn't hit him in the head.
No, did not.
And they can't overturn that. You should be able to review that.
And a real sticky wicket with the targeting and using the helmet as a weapon. A real sticky wicket is the ball carrier many times is the head lower Right? The ball carrier.
So they changing their level.
Yeah, but you never hear dead ball leading with the crown of the helmet, the running back. But they do that. They lead with their head a lot.
Right.
But that's not a penalty. Have you ever seen that called? I don't think I've ever seen that called on a ball carrier.
I saw it once actually in a high school game.
Really?
It was a playoff game. Mm-hmm.
Really? I've never seen that. I also have never. Here's the one I shouldn't say before I die, but here's the one I want to see before I quit watching football. And I've seen it happen a million times. Pass interference called on both the receiver and the defensive back.
Sure.
I've seen
typically that's the case.
I've seen many a time where either both of them going for the ball or getting off the line of scrimmage, the DB may hold, and then 15 yards as the route develops, the receiver pushes off.
Right.
But I've never seen, we have offsetting penalties on the two guys that were both guarding each other, and you know it's happened.
The receiver, there's a lot of hand fight. I mean, they're supposed to be able to hand fight, but the advantage is definitely to the offense.
It always in pass interference, it always leans to the offense and the late hit helmet thing and all. It always leans to. It's tough to play defense. Now, the NFL figured out about 25 years ago, and they went to the rule book to make sure they put it in. They want it to be a quarterback passing league. They think the fan likes the ball in the air and going downfield. I grew up where football was centered around a running back. The running game, the ground game, play good defense. I didn't mind that, but
3 yards in a cloud of dust.
But the NFL, and it wasn't that bad. I mean, the OJs and the Walter Paytons, they were flashy and
Barry
all.
Sanders.
Barry Sanders and all. But the NFL, and they went to their rule book to hammer this home. The NFL figured out, and they were right. It seems like, because the fans love the quarterback position being the marquee position, not the running back.
But look now, over the last probably 5-6 years, how many running quarterbacks we have in the league now that we didn't have 20 years ago.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Interesting. Good stuff, Doc. I enjoy talking ball with you as well. We'll do it again next week. Enjoy the games, and we'll get back together next Wednesday. How's that?
Yeah, sounds good.
That's our buddy, Dr. Aaron Bates. You know him by now. He's been with us a long time here on the program and adds a great element to our show. Dr. Aaron Bates from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. Let's take a break, come back. We'll get to I think Brent Beard's going to check in with us. A lot of college football and basketball to get to with Brent. I don't know, have we visited since the national championship game? I'm not sure. Brent, I don't think we did. We'll catch up with a lot of things with Brent Beard on the other side. Fast-moving Wednesday edition of the Young and Norvell Show. The breaking news, of course, happened earlier today. Trent Baalke out as general manager of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll get back into that story on the other side. We'll come.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dynamic Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
The Action Sports Jax 24/7 network is streaming. I'm Stuart Weber, and I'm here to teach you a nice three-step process on how you can watch all your favorite programming from the Brent and Austin Show every weekday 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. or the Cup Date with me. It's fantastic. We talk NASCAR. It's a great time. Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. All right, first step, easy. Download the Action News Jax app. You probably already have it downloaded on your phone, so you might already have that one taken care of. Step 2, see that stack of pancakes up there? You click that stack of pancakes, and it's going to bring down step number 3, which is a full screen of all the different streams that you can click on, including the Action Sports Jax 24/7 stream. You click that, the video's rocking and rolling on your mobile device, you're watching all the shows you want to, and you're having a good time. You can also do it on your smart TV with the Action News Jax Now app. I do it on my Samsung TV at home. It's a great way to watch it on a nice, large screen for all the content. That's the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Hope you can find it.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Back we are. Let's jump into the show right back out of the break and welcome Brent Beard on. Brent joining us here as we are steaming into the last half hour. Big news around Jacksonville area. Trent Baalke has been fired. Brent, I want to get your thoughts on that first. It really was around the elbow to get to the nose. Shad Khan probably, even if this works out and he hires the right GM and he hires the right head coach, this wasn't the smoothest way. He would be stumbling into this. This wasn't the way you wanted to handle this at all. Your thoughts on when you heard the news, your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I was surprised because I thought he might be here for quite some time. I mean, there's no doubt Baalke is the problem. That's number one. 1A or 1B is, why did it take Shad Khan so long to figure this out?
Wow, really screwed this up. Even if it turns out by a miracle, if he just finds a diamond in the rough, finds $20 in his pants pocket, as I said, this wasn't the way to handle it.
Oh no, well, but look, I mean, I can understand a little bit of a glimmer of hope, but people really also need to understand, Terry. This is, as you and I've chronicled, this roster is so bad, frankly, and you're basically starting over. Yeah. But this is not going to be a quick fix by any means, is it?
Yeah, probably not. This also lends you to believe that this will be all Shad Khan's hire. I don't think he'll anywhere near have a general manager picked out. He's going to have to hire a coach here himself in the next week or so. Right. I think they've already gotten to second rounds on him, but even though some guys have turned them down, they've got several guys they've already second round. I think they'll name. I don't have any inside scoop here. I think they'll name a coach by midnight Friday, and then he'll worry about hell. He may use the coach that he hires to help him go find the general manager that the coach wants to work with.
Well, and Terry, how embarrassing is it? And help me on this. If Liam Cohen turns them down and decides to stay in Tampa, I heard that from a beat writer a few minutes ago that is a black eye for them. Yeah, you certainly think that Cohen would not want a head coach job, but you can understand the circumstances.
And probably more of a black eye on the Jacksonville franchise. It really appears he could have taken the job, but I would think that Tampa, they did give him a big raise. It's been reported he got a big raise. I would think Tampa told him, "You're our next coach." The NFL, it's rare that Bill Belichick's come around every blue moon that stay at one place for 18 years or whatever. I think they've told him. But, boy, these coaches want to be head coaches, and he could have had that job. He probably looks at it like you said and says, man, this is a big rebuild. Tampa's, say what you want, they've won their division a couple, 2-3 years in a row. So anyway, let's move from that. We've had that as the big topic all day today, and it'll be dominate our sports shows here on Action Sports Jacks, of course. Brent did a great job. Brent Martin earlier jumping on and kind of chronicling when the news broke here on our streaming network here. Brent, you and I haven't visited since Ohio State in what I thought was a pretty dominating performance. 11-point win. I thought it was a bigger win than that. Are you confident, like I think most of us, the 2024 college football season ended and Ohio State was the best team? They had the best roster. They had the most accumulation of talent. They figured it out. They woke up, whatever you want to say. I have no doubt that they were clearly the best team in the country.
Yeah, they were. Absolutely. I mean, a lot of teams can learn from this. That you can have a horrific loss like they did and still be able to be in the playoffs and move forward. But, I mean, Jim Knowles, or the coordinator, deserves a lot of credit. I mean, and if people didn't – the amazing thing is about this, Notre Dame actually averaged more points per game than Ohio State did.
Sure they did.
A lot of people would not realize it was like 39-37. And I know that's splitting hairs, but they finally used their weapons. Travion Henderson. I'll tell you one thing, good and well, Lane Kiffin misses Junkins, who had 100 yards.
Good back.
In the championship game. So they absolutely did. Now this, I would pump the brakes a little bit on this. Big Ten is the greatest conference ever in the history of man. Yeah. Look, I know they won 2 in a row, and I'm not interested in starting an argument about this, as many have done, but it's going to take quite a while. And frankly, the Big Ten have not. Before then, Big Ten hadn't done this 2 years in a row since the 40s.
Yeah, since the 40s. Wow, how about that?
Yeah.
How about
that?
But tip of the hat, Ohio State was the best team.
Yes.
They found it. Ryan Day deserves it. I mean, a gaudy record, 70-10, I guess it is. I mean, that's just unbelievable record. Ohio State, frankly, under Ryan Day, might have been the best team another couple of years. The best team doesn't always win it. But boy, what a situation. That really opens up the door for Ryan Day too. He's a young guy. He's got some NFL traits to him. I could see him coaching grown-ass men. Some coaches at college you don't see translating to coaching a men's locker room. You know what I mean? But I could see him. He's got a lot of options now. He's got that one. When you get that one title, you're in the club. He's in the club. He's in the club. So tip the hat to Ohio State. Brent, I took the final ranking. Obviously, rankings don't matter. We have a playoff. But I took the final ranking, and I kind of just zipped down the AP Top 25. And I kind of listed 3 or 4 programs that didn't win the national title. Obviously, that was Ohio State. But they really liked the year they had. And then I took 4 or 5 programs that didn't win the national title, and I think they kind of had a step-back year. They weren't real happy. Yeah. And one of them made the playoff. We'll get to that in a moment. But here's a couple I'm going to throw out at you. You can name some yourself. These 1, 2, 3, 4, I thought real positive year, something to build on, good season for them. Notre Dame. I think it was a really nice year for Notre Dame. I mean, they had the ugly loss early, but Notre Dame. I thought Texas. Texas made it to the Final Four, second year in a row. SEC, they can compete in the SEC. They proved that. I thought it was a nice Arizona State out of left field. Maybe they're sitting on a magical young coach. Maybe
could be.
You never know. And South Carolina. I don't think many people outside of Columbia, South Carolina, saw that coming.
No,
and I know it ended with a loss. I think they lost their bowl game. I think
they did.
But South Carolina, every week it got more feel good. It just they didn't win every game, but they got better. And by the end of the year, South Carolina, this probably wasn't true, but South Carolina thought they could beat anybody in the country.
Yeah,
by the end of the year. So those are 3 or 4. If you want to add 1 or 2 or comment, and then programs that I thought when it's all over, 2024, we put it to bed the other night. They went, we missed. We didn't. I think clearly Alabama at 9-4. Alabama, very uncharacteristic for modern Alabama football. LSU I throw in there. I thought LSU had more talent than to not really be a factor.
Yeah.
Tennessee, I think I put a lot of that on Nico's shoulders. I thought Tennessee was going to go as far as Nico, and I think he held them back. He did not develop the way I thought, and I know they finished probably 10th. And Clemson, I know Clemson made the tournament. They backed into the ACC. They backed into the tournament. I think Clemson was expecting. I don't think they were expecting 9-4. I thought they were expecting double digits. So, your thoughts on some of those? Your own kind of pros and cons as the rankings wrapped up.
Yeah. I'll be glad to deal with that. I'm just guessing right now. Texas will probably your number one in a lot of these way too early preseason predictions. I could see that coming. Agree with you on Arizona State. Dillingham's done a really good job there. Dillingham, who looks like he's 12 years old.
He really does, doesn't he?
Yes. Tennessee ran out of players, frankly.
They did.
I mean, Nico was hurt. Dylan Sampson was hurt. Squirrel White
stayed hurt. McCoy was coming back from a major injury.
Oh, yeah. No question about that. Agree with Clemson. I think they took a step forward, frankly, that they got back into the discussion, which is important. Now, the South Carolina thing, they lost that bowl game. I'm still thinking about Brett Bielema and Shane Beamer almost getting into a fight there at the end. Along with that. Now, I'll throw a couple others in here to go along with that. I'll be intrigued to see where SMU goes. Well,
agree.
We're Lashley continue with them playing well. Boise State got a sniff of rarefied air. Where will that go for them? Now, it's easy to leave Oregon out, but with Dan Lanning, they're not going anywhere, are they, Terry?
Probably not, but if they would have just competed a little more, they wouldn't have such a sour taste. They're undefeated, and they lost a lot, not just by the loss, but they just didn't compete in the big stage.
And obviously Georgia at number 6. Georgia's got a lot to clean up. Georgia's their offensive line was awful. They dropped passes at the wide receiver position. They think they've got their quarterback, or at least certainly one they like. There's a lot more going on at Georgia. You know, I've seen, like you probably have, some Mike Bobo stepping down stuff too. But as far as the gotcha stuff, I mean, Bama, South Carolina, and Ole Miss. You know, as I think about the offseason, Terry, any of those teams with one more win and they're in.
Yeah, one more. Real quick, you mentioned SMU. We also mentioned Arizona State. Dillingham, young guy that might be carving out a niche name for himself.
Absolutely.
Rhett Lashley, kind of the same guy.
Yes.
You know, a longtime coordinator, respected coordinator. He's done nice things at SMU, both relatively young. Are those two guys, not to disparage Arizona State as a program or SMU as a program, but are those two guys that one more nice year and the big boys of the SEC and or Big Ten may be calling those guys?
They might. Now, the only thing with Lashley at SMU is they've got so much blooming money.
I know.
At SMU, I mean, when you join a conference and don't take any money for Terry, half a dozen years?
How about that?
Yeah, boy, your bank account, my bank account are that way, aren't they? Yeah, and especially that we both have daughters. We know where that's going, but yeah, that might keep Lashley there a couple of years because Terry, frankly, they could pay him more than he'd get in the NFL.
Yeah, probably good. They could put together a package. They certainly could. Brent, I still don't quite understand the rationale, the reasoning, the theory behind all the stuff I read a week ago about the Atlantic Coast Conference maybe thinking they need to tweak their championship football game, and they got talking about I read it a million times. Maybe we want to send the number 2 and 3 teams to the championship game, and the winner not. Well, doesn't that not make it a championship game if the winner of the conference doesn't? The number 1 team. What are they trying to do, or what were they trying to? I didn't follow it at all.
Yeah. This was Jim Phillips' brainstorm here. That what he threw out there. Well, what about if our champion of the regular season gets an automatic bid, and then we'll have 2 and 3 play in order to get them in too. Look, I mean, Terry, in some ways, with the leadership that conference has had, it's amazing, isn't it? They're still together as one.
That reasoning almost sounds like you might mess around and only get 1 in. They got 2 in, right? They got Clemson and SMU. You might mess around.
Yeah,
I didn't follow that, Brent Beard, at all.
Yeah, at all. Well, no one else did either. I mean, that was one of the silliest things that we have heard. Now, what we've also heard is there's still negotiation going on with Florida State and Clemson. There is some talk about what could Florida State and Clemson have happen to them in order to stay in the conference. I'm still not sure. There have been so many dishes thrown at each other and knives and forks where you can pull that off again.
Yeah.
Or take the divorce decree and tear it up at this point. But I mean, it's still going on. It's still a bit in limbo. And again, all we know is if FSU's going in 26, they've got to let the conference know by the middle of August.
Let's turn to some Gator news or rumors. Considering the late hour, I thought Florida picked up about as good a backup quarterback, an insurance policy as they could. I remember Harrison Bailey. I remember him. He was a 4-star quarterback, signed with of some note. He was pretty highly recruited. Signs with Tennessee, bounced around UNLV by way of Louisville. So he comes to Florida, 1 year of eligibility. Brent, there's a lot to like about this guy. He's 23 years old. He'll be the backup to Lagway, insurance policy. He's 23 years old, 6'5", 223, 4-star out of high school from Marietta. He played in 6 games at Tennessee, had a couple starts. He started and played a full game against Florida.
Yeah.
Florida won the game. He played against Florida. Florida won the game 31-19. He was 14 of 21 in the game against the Gators back in 2020, threw a touchdown pass. He's had several starts. He actually started Louisville's bowl game this year.
Yeah.
Louisville's starting quarterback opted out. Louisville played in their bowl game against Washington, a legitimate program.
Mm-hmm. He
started and was the winning quarterback. He threw for 164 yards against Washington in the bowl game, 3 touchdowns. They won the game 35-34. Brent, this guy has, college-wise, he played in 18 total games at all those stops. 4 starts. A couple of those are SEC starts, Florida and Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
He was 2-2 in his 4 starts in all those colleges. He's thrown 171 total Division I passes, nearly 200 passes. You can't fake that. I mean, you got to go through it. You know, the crowd's screaming, and he did that a bunch of those in Florida Field. Threw for 1,100, almost 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. You can do a lot worse, I think, as your emergency backup, last-minute replacement as a quarterback for Florida. I think that was a pretty good win for the Gators.
No doubt. I still kind of don't know why, if you're a quarterback, even if you're not going to start, why you leave Louisville. Louisville. That's some of the better quarterback coaches.
He may have got recruited over. He may have just.
It could have been.
They told him, "Hey, man, you're not going to start. We're going to start this hot shot guy we got."
Oh yeah, I agree. And Dallas Wilson's supposed to enroll this week. That will help them. Now, I give Zach Goodall credit for this, Terry, as we share notes together, saying again that it's, Lord help us, that it's unlikely that Billy Napier is going to hire an offensive coordinator.
That was my next topic to throw at you. There's a lot of rumors popping up that Napier thinks the offense is growing exponentially year after year after year. He thinks the rumors are out there that his stance is what we're doing is right. And I guess once we get a little more talent in here, Brent, if that's the case, I want to go on record. I think that's the wrong move for Billy Napier. I think it is a bad move if he stays status quo with him calling the plays and him managing the game. I think he needs help in both areas. I think he's proven that. He will be going into his 8th year as a dual head coach at Division. Louisiana was Division I. I mean, they weren't they weren't Power 4, but they were Division I.
Right.
He will be going into his 8th year as head coach, play caller, game manager, and I think he's failed. He needs help. Brent, I think it would be a bad. I will be rooting for him, and I hope I'm eating a massive meal of crow this time next year. But that would concern me if he doesn't make a move.
I really wonder how much of this is at some point you're just being stubborn and obstinate.
That's a football coach.
Yes, and coaches are good about that. I mean, they will dig their heels in. I'm not saying that's a hill he needs to die on.
Yeah,
by any stretch of the imagination. But at some point, I think you need to get someone else in there, just to have a different voice and just to have a different opinion. Terry, I still say, and you and I think are pretty in agreement with this. He still needs a special teams coordinator worse than he does. Worse than he needs an offensive coordinator. Frankly,
totally agree. And let's be fair. College football teams, the course of a 12, 13, 14, 15, whatever game season, college football teams are going to have a flag thrown on them for 12 men on the field 2 times in a season. That is going to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm using this as one of the examples. Gator Nation remembers this well. The problem now is stuff like that, screwing up your timeouts at the end of the half. Stuff like that has happened.
Yes.
That does happen. Yes. That does happen in college football 2 times a year probably.
Yeah.
The problem is it's happened so much under Napier that inevitably they're going to have 12 on the field. It will get blown up. The first time they have 12 on the field, that is a massive fireworks going off story.
Yes.
And it should be because he cooked it. He cooked that story.
Oh yeah. But see, the problem there is, they've got that high school mat that they use for the players to stand on, and look, at some point, this year you've got the same thing. They are either delayed getting in, they get a penalty. They got 12 men, they get a penalty.
Yeah.
You've got, and I still say, Terry, that awful snap situation in the Georgia game.
Yeah.
Where the ball said, listen, the ball almost went to Callahan, frankly, and look, you remember that aspect of the game, Terry. If they had 3 points, then that made a huge difference in how that game came out.
It's going to be something if they hold status quo. I hope he wins, and I like Napier, and I'll be rooting for him. And again, I'll be happy to bring the biggest salt and pepper shakers this time next year and say, "Where's my crow? I'm gonna eat it." But I don't know. Brent, a few minutes left, about 5 minutes left here with Brent Beard, and we'll get out of here on a Wednesday edition of the Young and Norvell Show. Remember, big news today. You probably heard, but I want to get it out again. Shad Khan press release earlier today after lunch. announcing that he has fired Trent Baalke. So the Jaguars are looking for a head coach and a general manager. Florida is at South Carolina tonight in basketball. South Carolina 0 for 5. I told Zach this. We talked about it in the first hour. South Carolina, historically, since they've been in the conference in basketball, when they're a home underdog, they've been dangerous. They've knocked off some big boys. They're winless, 0-5 in the conference. A little dicey game tonight, I think, for Florida if they don't get a hold of it early. Early.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. And look, South Carolina has nearly beat a couple of the powers so far. Yeah. They're like a lot of teams. They're a different team at home. Mm-hmm. But see, where we are right now in SEC basketball, particularly if you're on the road, and Ole Miss and Alabama has proved it could happen at Alabama too. But the reality is, man, if you're not ready to play, and you get behind some of these teams and you're having to dig out of a hole, it can be a long night. But this, here's how this translates in basketball. When you're not ready to play and you're not motivated and you feel really entitled, you don't play any defense. You miss your first few shots, and then you turn right around. The other team's beating you on the boards. And you can be in a lot of trouble very quickly.
And the SEC is clearly divided. There's a line you and I can list, and we'll list it. There are the marquee sexy programs. I don't care what sport, just the name on the jersey, and then there's the other half, right? The marquee, and I play this because South Carolina is a non-marquee, right? They're not the sexy team. Yeah. But when they get one of the marquee teams in any of those sports at their home venue, it jacks them up. If the jersey says Florida, that's sexy. That's marquee. Yeah. Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky. Florida goes in there tonight, that place is stirred up. They want to beat the pretty team from Florida. Last night, the two big teams in action, the high-ranked teams, neither had any trouble. No. Alabama, an easy win. Tennessee, an easy win. They move on. Interesting, sometime the season plays out this way. Everybody, I think, will have 1 week where they do not play a midweek game. Correct. Your non-midweek this week, Auburn and Kentucky do not play midweek. Right. But Auburn will host former number one Auburn will host former number one Tennessee on Saturday. We've got days to get there, but I'm already looking forward to that ball game.
No doubt about it. Me too. I would agree with that. And again, there are some teams, I think LSU's in this list, that's just not going to do well. I mean, everybody, look, as good as the conference is, everybody can't win.
No.
And you've got that issue. I think South Carolina, as you said, it's kind of a tweener, but they can be very dangerous. And then you've got Vanderbilt, who beat Tennessee on Saturday and rushed the court. And then they go to Tuscaloosa, and I didn't think there'd be any way they'd be mentally prepared to win.
Nor did I, and they weren't
after the Tennessee win.
And they weren't. Another good game tonight. 13th ranked A&M at 16 Ole Miss. Ole Miss playing good ball. Yeah. And another dangerous game tonight in the conference. In the conference, Arkansas is winless. They're at home taking on Georgia. If Georgia's goal should be finishing in the top half. If you're the top 8, you're going to get in. Georgia's going to have a dicey game at Arkansas. They need to go in and win that game tonight. Georgia does.
Look, you said something I wanted to follow up on. It's not that he forgotten how to coach, but does someone sit down with Cal at some point? If you're 0-5 and 0-6, and say, look, something's not working. Can you tell us and explain to us why this is not working?
Well, I've always, with regard to John Calipari, I like him. He's type A. I think he could get on your nerves a little bit if you're around him too much. I generally like him. I think he's a used car salesman. I don't think he's a great X's and O's guy. And to cover his lack of X's and O's, which is what you're talking about, his career, he's been able to bludgeon the opponent with talent. Well, right now he can't bludgeon the other team with talent. It's not Kentucky. It's not Marcus Camby at UMass. It's not Derrick Rose at Memphis. And he's not going to out-coach anybody, X's and O's.
Right.
So,
well,
Brent,
Terry, what's happened there is they've gotten into this thing with Arkansas. It's not that they don't have money, but the reality is I don't know if they can match some of these other schools in the SEC and around the nation right now.
Brent, got to get out of here. 15 seconds. Thanks, buddy, for coming on late notice. Absolutely. I know you've been busy with all this crazy weather. We'll get together as the week rolls on. That'll do it. Enjoy some good college basketball tonight, and then the big story will continue tomorrow. Jags looking for a head coach and a general manager. Have a great Wednesday, everybody.
For those dealing with pain from a sports injury, arthritis, or spine condition, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists offers innovative new non-surgical options. Our regenerative medicine treatments, including platelet-rich plasma and other regenerative treatments, use your body's own restorative cells to aid in treating injuries. These procedures are performed in our offices and typically require minimal downtime. If you want to get back to doing what you love, our regenerative treatment options may be right for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jax to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jax in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jax 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms. Whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV, you can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jax 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who is coming to your house. You know they will be well trained, and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at BoldCityAC.com. Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. BoldCityAC.com, and they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at BoldCityAC.com. Homegrown in your hometown.